Let's obtain a sequence of partial sums of this series here by using a table of values. So what do I mean with a table of values? So I'm going to have k in my first row. I'm going to have the kth term. And that is, I'm going to treat this as just a sequence. So actually, let me be a little more specific here. Let me write this as a sub k. So I'm going to treat this as a sequence rather than a series. And then in my last one, I'm going to have the partial sums. So let's do the first one together, or the first couple together. So if k equals a 1, then our first term, and I'll write this here, when k equals 1, we just end up with 1 over 2 to the 1, which is 1/2. So that would go here. And s sub 1 at this point would also be 1/2. All right, so let's keep going. What about when k equals 2? Well, when k equals 2, we have 1 over 2 squared, which is 1 over 4. And now what is 1/2 plus 1/4, because that goes here? That is 3 over 4. All right, so let's keep going. When k equals 3, we end up with 1 over 2 cubed, so that's 1 over 8. And then to figure out s sub k, so the third partial sum, we need to add 1/2. For this one, we need to add 1/2 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 8. And I'll write that in as a decimal. That's just 0.88. So take a moment, and I'm going to erase this work here so I can extend my table. And take a moment and see if you can find the first 10 partial sums. So when I say the first 10 partial sums, you're going to want to have 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you notice, to fit this in, I have to erase this section here. So please pause the video now and figure out the sequence of numbers through 10. That is up through 1 over 2 to the 10th power here. And then also find the partial sums. Your table should look like this. And you can kind of get an idea of what's going to keep happening. If we keep adding more numbers, the 11th, 12th, 13th, and any term after this, the sequence of partial sums is just going to be 1 at this point. These values are so negligible, we're just basically adding nothing to it, or near nothing